So for some of us, I think our devices have become so integrated into our lives that we don't really think twice about possibly getting off of them. Hey guys, it's Tiffany from the blog growingdine.com. Welcome back. Today I wanted to share kind of more of a personal story. About a year ago, I think it was a little less than a year ago, I posted a video where I was talking about taking a break from social media for a week and just what that helped me realize, just the mindset changes that happened through that. And I recently decided to put my phone away for 3 whole days and not look at it at all. I did allow myself to get on the laptop to do like blog and YouTube related work. I didn't spend time scrolling, but I would get on there and check like Facebook or my Telegram messages when I was on there. But it really was amazing how much of a difference it made in my mental clarity when I consciously made that decision to put my phone away. I didn't have the luxury of just pulling it out and checking Instagram or checking my text messages or even just looking something up that popped in my head. Not being able to do that made me realize that a lot of my mental energy is spent just being distracted, and it really kind of keeps me from focusing as much on my family and accomplishing what I really need to accomplish. Don't get me wrong, like I am not speaking out against technology. I think it's a great thing, and I think it does help us to be more productive in some ways. I think if we're not careful with it, it can really be a hindrance to our productivity. But if we use it correctly, it can be very much of a help. So I really just want to encourage you all today in this video to be mindful and aware when it comes to your phone time, and know that if you are struggling with spending too much time on your phone and you're aware of it, but you're not really sure where to start, that's okay. You're not getting any judgment from me at all. I think that a lot of us are in that same place, but I hope that me sharing my experience and some of the things that God has showed me through this process will maybe give you a jumping off point as far as where to start. For me, it wasn't until I actually said something out loud to my husband that I was able to really take a step and say, okay, I'm doing this for 3 days. I'm putting my phone in a drawer and I'm not going to even turn it on. Once I said that out loud, once I made myself accountable to someone, I was committed. So yeah, my phone is pretty much always in my back pocket, in case I need to snap a picture, look up a recipe, respond to a message. I have noticed since I did this 3-day fast from my phone, I am really bad about excusing phone time in the name of work. And I think this is a really easy trap to get or to fall into. Is telling yourself, especially if you're a business owner, like we are, telling yourself that, well, it's okay that I'm spending 20 to 30 minutes scrolling on Instagram because I'm doing research or I'm engaging. And that's totally necessary if you're trying to grow a following or grow a business online. But like I said, it's really easy to take that too far and tell ourselves that the time that we're spending consuming social media is in the name of work, when in reality, we shouldn't be needing to spend much time scrolling. I have really here lately tried to make it a point to only get on social media with the intent of sharing something. And, I give myself permission once I open up the app to share what I need to share, take some time to engage with some friends, with some followers, and then put it away. I'm really trying to get out of the habit of just picking up my phone, opening Instagram or Facebook or whatever social media and just getting caught up in looking at what is there, because to be completely honest, that is a total time suck, and it's not benefiting my business, it's not benefiting me, it's not benefiting my family in any way, especially when I'm choosing to do that during a time that really I should be focusing on something else, like schooling my kids or cooking dinner or talking with my husband or whatever. Okay, so as I talk about this, know that I realize how convicting this topic can be, because it's something that the Lord has convicted me of. I know that it can look like I'm being preachy in what I'm saying here, but honestly, I am preaching to myself in this whole entire thing, because I have struggled with all of these things. So just know that you're not alone. And this isn't me saying that I have it all figured out or that I have completely overcome these things. But I know that if I take the time to stop and recognize my own habits and patterns, and I ask the Lord to show me what it is that I'm doing wrong, and then believe that by giving those things over to Him, He is going to help me overcome. He has already overcome those things. With the help of Jesus, I can overcome any of these struggles that I am having with missing time with my family, or getting distracted, or not being productive, or whatever. And it's not that God is here saying, like, I can't believe you're doing this. Straighten up, you can do better. Not that He doesn't lift us up and encourage us, and not that He doesn't call us out on our crap. Excuse me. He does, but He is cheering for you. He is cheering for me. He is on our side. He is for you. He is for your freedom. He is for you being everything that He has called and created you to be. So this whole thing about spending time on our phones, this is not me saying that I think God is telling you or telling me to completely get rid of our phones. He told me to totally fast it for 3 days. That doesn't necessarily mean He's going to tell you to do the same thing. Even if you're having similar struggles, it may look more like putting screen time limits on your phone, putting limits on certain apps, or just putting it away in a drawer for a certain time of the day, consistently every day. But I do know that there is a principle of there being a designated time for everything. And I want to read Ecclesiastes 3. It's verses 1 through 8. My Bible. This is in the New Living Translation. It says, "For everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to harvest, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to cry and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to turn away, a time to search and a time to quit searching, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be quiet and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace." So what this tells me is there is a designated time for every matter under heaven. There is a time for using technology. There is a time for connecting with friends and family. There is a time for speaking what's on our hearts. There is a time for sharing. But there's also a time for being quiet. There is a time for reflection without letting anyone else's opinions or whatever get in the way of that. There is a time for discipline and sacrifice, which I think a lot of us I think that's the struggle for a lot of us, is it's just too hard to think about putting away our phones for a designated amount of time. Because we use them for so many things, we have this false sense of like, well, I need this. There's so many things that I can't do without this. And that may be true, but know that if the Lord is pulling at your heart right now or whenever to do a certain thing, even if it doesn't make sense, know that He has equipped you to do that thing, and He's not going to let things fall apart. At least not anything that actually matters. He's not going to let it fall apart as a result of your obedience. There's also this hang up that I have of, well, if I give this up for a time, then I'm not going to be able to get as much done. And during those 3 days that I didn't have my phone, I absolutely could have done a lot more in terms of work and creating content. I could have done that, and it would have probably helped my business down the road. But life is not all about the grind. And that's something that I have to remind myself as someone who very much likes to do something, work hard, and see results. It's really hard to tell myself that I'm going to put such a productive tool away and do absolutely nothing with it for 3 days, because I have this thing of, well, if I'm not doing something productive, then I'm wasting time or I'm wasting resources. And I hate that feeling of like I'm wasting something. I don't know if any of you relate, but this is just something that I deal with. That mindset is exactly why I needed to take that time away from my phone. I needed to remind myself that life is not all about being productive. It's not all about getting things done, even really good things, even a lot of really good things. There is a time for me to step back and fully focus on praying, on laughing with my family, on putting all of my brain power and energy into a seemingly mundane task like cleaning the kitchen. So yeah, part of me is kind of laughing at myself for saying all of this about 3 days off of my phone. Like, it doesn't seem like it should be such a big deal, and I guess in some ways it's not, but just that action really sparked in me wanting to have this conversation with you all and just sharing kind of what the Lord has shown me in that. And really, yeah, 3 days doesn't seem like a big deal, but if we consider how many times we pick up our phone and use it in a 3-day period, going without it for 3 days kind of is a big deal. So again, this is not meant to be like a judgment, condemnation thing. I know that we all spend time on our phones and we all are entertained by things on our phones. We all use our phones to work, to be productive. We use them to keep tabs on friends. We use them to communicate, which is very important. I think it's an amazing tool. I think it's a necessary tool. But at the same time, if we believe that we're not ever chained to our devices, more than likely that's probably a lie. I know that for me, that's something that I didn't want to admit. And so because I am saying that and I am aware of that, I have a responsibility, I feel like, personally, to tell the Lord, I'm going to give this up periodically. I'm going to be intentional with putting this down. I'm going to be intentional with how I use it. I'm going to say out loud, okay, I'm taking a break from this. I am deliberately putting this away for a time that is longer than what's comfortable for me because I love you more. And that's what this was about for me. I did a whole blog post on this recently. I posted it to my blog, growingdawn.com. If you want to read more about my experience and more about why I think this is important, you can go there. I will leave the link below in the description box. I know that this is kind of heavy content for me, but I really felt led to share it. And I know that there are people out there that know they need to spend less time on their phone, but they aren't really sure how to do it, or they feel like nobody else is doing it. So, you know, it's just normal for me to spend this much time on my phone. I just want you to know that even if no one else around you is doing it, if you are feeling a tug or a pull in your heart that you need to do something or you need to put something away for a time, know that that is more than likely the Holy Spirit, and He will empower you and equip you to do those things that He has called you to do. If you are a believer in Jesus, you are free. Your freedom is already bought and paid for. And that is what I want you to take away from this video. If you liked this video, let me know in a comment below. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is this really hard? Did this encourage you? Did this motivate you to make a change? Give me your ideas. What do you want to see in my next video? Because I'm always needing ideas. I am open to talking anything homestead, faith, family related. So let me know, and I will see you all in the next video.